Well, not surprisingly, Donald Trump has come out and criticized Governor Newsom. And this has been an issue back and forth. Remember, Donald Trump and Newsom walked next to each other in Northern California years ago after a wildfire. Do you think that this one, though, being so historic, being so politically, ripe with the budget cuts and the water hydrants, possibly spells doom for Newsom or Bass?
Well, I think it's too soon to say it's political doom for them. Don't think either of them has done a particularly good job either in preparing for this or in handling it in the moment. But if there's a surge forward here of good public policy, if there's a surge forward of visibility and of helping people, I don't think this has to end their careers. But I do find it so far to really have overwhelmed them both. You don't see either of them in moments that suggest they're on top of this. And that's the first job of a governor, a mayor, a president, is to give people a sense that they're on top of it. And it seems from the way they've been in the public eye, it's been the opposite of that.
Yeah, it certainly has. So we'll put that aside for now because I want to get your take on what's happening on the Hill. Donald Trump meeting with senators last night in GOP, and he has some big meetings in Mar-a-Lago in the next few days. He'll be hosting members of the House to talk about his majority, the raise with the majority, and how they want to structure these bills. And also, we have the nominations. So Donald Trump, full speed ahead here. First off, your take on how the meeting went last night with GOP senators, because obviously they hold a lot of sway with his cabinet picks.
Yeah. So two big issues with the Senate. One is the confirmation hearings. The other is, will they accept the desire of the House and so far of Donald Trump about how to proceed procedurally with getting the Trump agenda passed? Should they be two bills or one bill? There's a lot of process details embedded in that. But the Senate, surprisingly somewhat to me, is even though they're inclined to be deferential to Donald Trump, they've not agreed yet to go for just the one big bill. And I think this will be an ongoing conversation. But the glass half full part, maybe even more than half full for Donald Trump, is he is very well received. Even the senators who don't necessarily like him as much as the ones who really like him generally are supportive. They like being back in control of the White House. And I think there's a general sentiment of they agree on what they want to try to get to. They're really just talking about what the best process is. And that's a lot more unity than you necessarily see in a new president.
It sure is. A healthy dialogue, if you will. Watching Carter's funeral a bit today, too, and you see all of the living presidents. It's something we don't see that often. Anything you took away from that? Actually, Trump was sitting right next to Obama.
Not just sitting next to him, but chatting in a pretty friendly way.
We need a lip reader.
My lip reading for that. Look, there were a lot of moments, and we don't want to take away from the Carter family and what went on in terms of the speaking program. But the tableau of the former presidents, the former vice presidents, there was a Trump-Pence handshake. I'm not sure when the last one of those was, but that was pretty notable to me. And then there are people who feel their human intelligence allows them to suggest there was frostiness between certain categories of people. I want to go back and review the tape, but there certainly was some cases of handshakes and laughter, and some cases where there seemed to be a lack of even eye contact.
Ooh, yes. Well, it is a historic day, though, nonetheless. So Donald Trump held that freestyle news conference. We'll expect to see a lot more of those. We've got a week left of Joe Biden. He's not going to Italy now. Push that back in light of what the devastation is in California. Probably a good move. But what would you be looking for in the final week of Biden's presidency? I mean, we've talked about pardons. That's on the table. But what are you hearing, and what is your instinct here?
My instinct is there'll be more pardons and maybe some significant ones. He told USA Today on Sunday in an interview published yesterday that he was still considering preemptive pardons for people like Anthony Fauci. So I think those appear to be at least on the table. Maybe they'll happen, maybe they won't. You hear even from a lot of Democrats that they don't quite understand what the through line is for all these Biden final day actions. What's he trying to convey? And I think if there is a kind of a theme in this pudding, it's he's doing things that Donald Trump wouldn't necessarily like. At the same time, he does say he'll greet Trump and host Trump on Inauguration Day and then go up and witness the swearing in. So it's a strange ending to what has been a strange presidency.